214.5 hours is how many hours I have on this thing so far, and it's been fantastic. What's going on, guys? Are you guys thinking about getting a generator to maybe take camping with you, or maybe you're a full-time RVer like we are? Well, I wanted to share with you what I have, because we are a full-time RV family. We're a travel nurse family. My wife is a travel nurse, and we've traveled all over the United States. Well, we've traveled to 24 states so far, and over 30,000 miles in the last 2 years. But I've had this generator on the back of my RV this whole time, and it has been amazing and worked for us very well. So I want to share with you guys my experience with this, show you what I got. And this would be a good comparison to the Harbor Freight Predator 3500 amp or 3500 watt generator that they offer. Very comparable. I'm going to actually do a comparison at the end, so stick around at the end. I'm going to do a price and the feature breakdown to show you why I chose this over the Predator. And this is a real world review, so you're going to see the generator mounted, how I have it mounted to the trailer. And it's dirty. It gets a lot of use. It's dirty. It's out on the road, bouncing down the road, so don't expect nothing clean, but here it is. All right, so here is my champion 4500 watt inverter generator. Now the 4500, that's a little misleading, because 4500, it's 4500 peak max starting watts, and it's 3500 running watts. So there's a big difference. A lot of them label with whatever the starting watts is, but this is actually a 3500 watt generator. It just happens to have 4500 watts starting watts. So as you can see here, I have my plug plugged into the 30 amp RV outlet. And this actually has a true 30 amp RV outlet. A lot of them just have the 30 amp twist lock generator style outlet, not the RV 30 amp. So that's nice because you don't need another adapter. It's also got your two regular plugs right here. And then it's got a little cigarette style lighter, is what I call them, right there. So if you unplug the cord, underneath is these two ports right here. And these are the parallel connections. So that's the parallel connection, meaning that if you have another champion generator, I believe 2500 or 2800 watts or higher, you can connect the two up, and then that'll give you a 50 amp outlet to run your 50 amp service trailer. Now, this is a 50 amp service trailer, but I do run it off a 30 amp. Works just fine. I can't use both air conditioners, but I can use my main air conditioner, I can use my microwave, I can use everything. I just can't use both air conditioners at the same time. So to turn this thing on, all you have to do is turn the switch on right there, turn this over right here, and you squeeze this little yellow switch right there, and that'll go ahead and fire it right up. But you know what the absolute best thing about this generator is? What? Remote start, look at that. Now you can see here it also has an eco mode. You can take that off eco mode. RPMs kick up a little higher. Now this is an inverter generator, so it is pretty dang quiet. Here's the sound from right at the back of it. There's the exhaust. And then just like this, pretty cool. And so to leave this in remote operation mode, you have to leave the knob turned all the way down to the on position, and you have to leave the red switch turned on. And if you leave it in that position, you can go ahead and leave this thing on and just leave it alone. I leave it like this all the time because I'm using it every couple days, if not every day, just depending on how hot it gets and what I need it for. Now I do have 300 amp hours of lithium battery, so that does do quite a bit for me. The generator is what I use when I'm doing the air conditioner when it's hot out. That's how I recharge my system, because as of right now, I do not have a solar system. So this is my charging station right here, this inverter generator. All right, now that I've shown you the generator, I'm gonna go ahead and show you how I have it mounted here to the back of my fifth wheel, because I have people look all the time. I've actually had people stop me at rest areas, tell me they were following me down the road and they happened to pull over as well. And they came out and stared at it and they're like, man, that thing does not move at all. Nothing on the back of your trailer moves or bounces. Because you know how some stuff is, you'll see people going down the road and the back of their stuff's just bicycles flapping around, generators on a rack just flapping around. This thing is solid. This thing, it doesn't budge at all. And like I said, I've had people stop me to come look to see how I've had it mounted. So I'm gonna share with you guys how I mounted it as well and how I hooked it up in case you're thinking of doing the same thing. Okay, so what I did is I made this bracket, this mount that it sits on right here. And actually, I took the wheels off back here. I welded up a bracket and everything and mounted it to it. I mounted it to the front mounting points, the little legs that sit there on the ground. I mounted it to where the wheels would have gone here. And then underneath there is also a couple spots that I mounted it to where there was some mounting brackets that I took off and did that. This here is my extra little security that I made for it. It's welded down here. It does have a hinge, so that way this can flip up when I need to take it off and do service and all that kind of stuff. But it goes over, and down the other side it is bolted, and I have a spot to lock it as well. So that way, besides just being bolted down, it also has a little bit of extra security on it, to keep the honest people honest, right? And all of that is welded and mounted right here to a receiver hitch. And then I welded the receiver hitch part onto the frame, so it's nice and strong, plated it in and everything. And then I have my regular 2-inch standard hitch material that I welded the bracket and stuff to. And it just goes into your regular receiver hitch, and then I have the little locking pin that's right here that goes ahead and that's what makes everything tight. That's what makes it so it doesn't bounce and all that stuff down the road. And because of the bike rack and everything I got here, I didn't just put on this onto the bumper, this receiver hitch for the bike rack, because that, if you know anything about these RV bumpers, this thing would just bend and break and fall off. So I actually put a piece of 2x4 box tubing behind it. It's like 3/16 wall thickness back there. Anyways, put this on here, welded it all up, squished in the 2x4 piece behind it, welded that all up, and then I boxed this in and put a piece that goes back to the back so it ties it all in. And that piece runs all the way across. And then that little receiver hitch thing also welds on the edge of that as well. So very secure, very strong. I've had no issues whatsoever. And like I said earlier, this thing has been through 24 different states and over 30,000 miles just bouncing down the road right here where you see it. That's also why it's a little dirty. Okay, then on this end has my standard 30 amp RV plug going into my cord here, and it goes into a 50 amp RV twist lock cord right there. And there is a difference between 30 amp and 50 amp, so I went online and I found out how they wire them. Like when you buy those little adapters that go from a 30 amp to a 50 amp, it's very simple how they do it. They're basically just connecting 2 poles in there so you send power to both legs inside your breaker box. And that's exactly what I did. I found out how they made those, and I did the same thing in my connection right there. So I have my 30 amps going to both connections in my breaker box, because your breaker box is the 50 amp. It's typically get broken into 2 different sections, and you have 120 volts on one side, you have 120 volts on the other side. It's all out of 50 amp, but if you only have a 30 amp, you typically only have one leg. So you have to jump it over so you get power to both those legs and send power to your breaker box. And that's what I did. There's a little fuel gauge right there. Right here, it's got a little screen in there too, so if there's any debris or anything like that, you're not putting dirty stuff in there, which is nice. But all these generators, they give you like an idea of how long they run. When you're buying it, it says in the box or it says online, you know, how many hours to expect runtime, right? Well, I don't know exactly what this one says. I think it says something around 14 hours at like a quarter, 25% use. 25% use, I really don't know what that is. But I can tell you, when I use this thing with my air conditioner on and this thing's, you know, the RPMs are up kicking on this thing, I can typically get, I'm gonna say around 6 hours or so of like max power runtime. That's about how much you get on a tank of gas, which is like a 2.3 gallon gas tank on these things. But I know, because I've run out of gas, I know I've got about 6 hours with this thing on, with the air conditioner on, when it's 100+ degrees out. And so that's fine. 6 hours, I am totally fine with that, because 2.3 gallons for 6 hours of comfort, well worth it. All right, and I put the cover back on because I'm going to show you guys how I typically use it. And this is it. I actually keep my cover on it most of the time. For one, it helps with the rain. So yes, this is like my rain cover as well. I have it where it's just over the plugs and stuff right here. Kind of slope it down right here so any of the water will run off right there. And I keep it open right here So the exhaust obviously can exhaust out without burning anything or getting anything, and it's still able to vent and breathe like it's supposed to. But that allows me to run it when it's raining and I don't have to worry about it and water getting into the electronics and things like that. So that has worked great. Again, 2 years like this, no issues, everything's been working great, so works perfect. And it also works good in the sun. I do the same thing when I'm out in the sun. That way it keeps the sun from baking on the top. Have you ever seen little gas gauges on quads and other little generators that sit out in the sun? They always get yellow and it cracks, and it's no good. So I try and keep that covered on the top here so I don't have to worry about the gauge and other things kind of getting heat or sunburnt, I guess, or sun faded or whatever you want to call it. So guys, I've been very happy with this generator. It has worked out amazing for us in our situation that we have going on. Maybe you need a bigger generator, maybe you need a smaller generator, I don't know. But I just know when I was looking at this, I knew I needed at least 3,000 watts running watts to be able to run my air conditioner. So when I was looking at these, that's why I mentioned earlier, I was comparing this to the Harbor Freight's Predator 3500, which again, 3500 is the max peak starting watts, but that generator is a 3,000 watt generator. So anyways, those are the two that I went back and forth on, and I'm gonna go ahead and share with you now the price, the features that each one of them have, and then you can maybe make a clear decision for yourself as to if you're thinking about getting that Predator one, maybe you will. Maybe you'll consider getting one of these instead because of the added features that it has that the Predator does not have. So let's get into this part right here. Okay, so the Predator is a 3,500 watt max starting with a 3,000 watts max running power. The Champion is a 4,500 watt max starting power with a 3,500 watts running power. So you get an extra 500 watts of running power with the Champion. Both of them have 2.3 gallon fuel tanks. The Predator weighs in at 102 pounds, whereas the Champion comes in at 97 pounds. The Predator has a decibel rating of 56, which is nice and quiet, and the Champion is just a little bit higher at 61 decibels. The price for the Predator as of today at Harbor Freight is $899.99, and on Amazon you can get the Champion 4500 for $900. But I would like to add, when I bought mine, I paid $824 for mine on Amazon. And then I noticed the week after I bought mine, I went on there and I saw that the price had dropped to $789. I actually called Amazon and said, hey, I just bought this. Can I get that price match since I just bought this and I haven't even received it yet? And they said, no, they don't do price matches or anything like that because their prices do fluctuate all the time. I have seen this generator as low as $729 on Amazon. As of today, right now, it's $900 even. So take it for what it is. You know, if you're thinking of getting one, but you don't need it right now, if you use Amazon, maybe get it and put it in your cart and keep an eye on it. Because it's $900 today, but in 2 weeks from now, it might be $8 something. And maybe you'll get lucky and get it at that $700 price. Who knows, but just wanted to let you know that. So they're both electric start. The Predator comes with a lead acid battery, and the Champion comes with a lithium battery. So the Predator claims that you can run it for 11 hours on a full tank of gas, which is the 2.3 gallons, at 25%. And the Champion states that you can run it for 14 hours at 25%. Now the Predator does not have remote electric start, whereas the Champion does. One of my favorite features that this generator has. Now the Predator does have a 30 amp outlet on it, but it is a twist lock generator style outlet. It is not the 3-prong RV style 30 amp outlet on it like the Champion had. So as you can see, the Champion has a few more features on it than the Predator, and that's what helped make my decision to go with it over the Predator. So is it the best generator? I don't know, but it sure is a great generator, and it has worked very well for me and my family. Again, we are a travel nurse family. It's myself, my wife. We have triplets that are 13 years old and 2 big dogs. So having the power in the palm of my finger, or fingertip, to hit the button and turn on and have instant power is amazing. And that's one of the features I love about this generator. Well, I hope this information has helped you if you're considering getting one of those 2 generators. I absolutely love the one I have, and I'm very happy I got it. All right, guys, well, if you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing. We do lots of things like this with the RV, and I'll have more of the travel nurse stuff coming up, as well as we like to go to filming locations, abandoned spots, now and then kind of things, Route 66, all kinds of cool stuff like that. So if you're interested in any of that stuff, please subscribe, follow along, and if you missed last week's video, go check it out where we went down the Enchanted Highway in North Dakota. awesome drive. It is an awesome drive. Stay tuned for next week because I'm gonna share with you an amazing spot, which is an amazing place to stay the night and have a lake, maybe all to yourselves like we did. All right, guys, well, that's gonna do it for this video. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Have a good one.